The camera.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV. It is a great day here. We are actually offering up our Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce, and I have my dear friend, Jean. It's great to have you back. We were just talking about how you took over for me that one show.
Oh, but that was in November.
I know. That was ages ago.
That was
so we're all back, healthy.
You.
I know. It was fun. But welcome in, everyone. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly, and I'm so excited about the show today because this is all about my hometown. I live in Tarpon Springs, have for 20 years, and my first guest, I feel like I know Dr. Huey over at Tarpon Total Healthcare.
Correct.
Right on Tarpon Avenue.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many friends go to you. And that's why I feel like I know you.
What?
And all of what you're doing over there, and I've been a chiropractic patient ever since I was like 19, so I get the whole entire program. I'm going to be kind of quiet here, if that's possible, because I'm going to turn the show over to you to tell us what's happening in chiropractic today and moving forward and what you're so excited about, because you've been there how many years now?
Since 1992.
Oh, my goodness.
Since 1992.
Yes.
Well, when we first talked, I was so fascinated because I have been a chiropractic patient as well from a variety of different places, and I was absolutely just mesmerized by a conversation we were having about surgery. And I thought, you have to come on this. And I'm so glad that you had known about him as well. So I'm anxious to hear about your new stuff.
Okay, well, thank you for having me, ladies. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
And the new stuff in my office, I've been a chiropractor since 1991. I graduated from Canada, came down that same year, and I've been working in Tarpon Springs since 1992. The clinic's been there since 80, so I haven't been there the entire time, but since 1980. So in that time frame, we've helped a lot of patients with neck problems, disc problems, herniations, whiplash injuries, done a great job with that. But trying to help them avoid surgery in the joints, the hips, the shoulders, the knees, that type of thing, that's where I was kind of missing the boat. So in the past 10 years, I've been following the stem cell information, mesenchymal stem cells. Specifically, that's introducing cells in the body that can help to regenerate and regrow tissue. And it's been kind of hit and miss as far as the technology, the cost, and just recently the stars have kind of aligned and allowed us to do a lot more with helping patients take care of the problems non-surgically and making it cost-effective and extraordinarily safe. So that's where we're at right now, and that's what I've just introduced. This is my second year now doing this in my office in Tarpon Springs.
That's awesome, and I'm guessing only because I have a lot of friends my age and everything, aren't they looking more for alternative now?
Absolutely, because the risk of surgery, as we were discussing before, in the paper last week, anyone over 70 who has a general anesthesia and not a cardiac anesthesia, which is more dangerous, but general anesthesia has a 5% mortality rate. A simple 5%, a simple knee replacement, which is always thought of as routine surgery, the 3-year mortality rate, I should say, is 7.6%. So there's no such thing as a routine surgery. That's the one thing patients have to understand. And if we can allow them to avoid the hip replacement or the knee replacement, that's a huge benefit to them, and they'll never have the risk of surgery or complication of anesthesia or falling because they're unstable. So all those risks are just taken right off the table. A great story, my dad came down, he's from Canada, 87 years old. He came down for Thanksgiving, and the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we were able to do the stem cell in his right shoulder. He was scheduled for surgery next month in Ontario, which I wasn't going to let him have anyways because shoulder surgery is just, it doesn't work out very well. And he's 60% better and no need for surgery, so he's very happy. And we're talking a very stubborn farmer, retired farmer.
And he's 87, so the risk of surgery and anesthesia is so much higher as well.
And I was giving a talk last Tuesday. Yeah, a week ago Tuesday, and we have an 80-year-old woman. Anne, her first name is, I can use her name, and she gives me permission. And we did both knees with her. She was actually considering and told me before we got started, this was the year she was going to have both knees replaced. And then she saw the information in my office on some of the boards, and then asked me about it. And her son was a wonderful young man, able to take care of that financially for her. So we did both of her knees, and she was talking last week. She has hung up her cane. No longer is he a walker of the cane. She's able to get down the floor with her 5-year-old grandson.
And how old is she?
She's 80 years old. And she'll be dancing at their 61st wedding anniversary.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. She did a great job giving us a nice testimonial last week. So, and those are the kind of stories. I guess I'm not surprised that patients are doing better because I knew that was going to happen. But the speed or the rate at the improvement has been kind of astonishing. And I don't want to promise anything out there. I usually say between 2 and 4 months, but typically it's been a lot faster than that. Even my dad, and that's 87-year-old.
Now, does it work better on some joints than others? And
the answer is yes. The problem with a lot of patients will come in and say, I have a disc herniation, can you help me with that? it has to do with the blood flow, as we were discussing before. The stem cells, which are the cells that allow your body to heal. If you cut yourself, they differentiate into different cells, the blood vessels, scar tissue, that type of thing, skin, to regrow your tissue. That takes blood flow, that takes capillaries, and that's where your stem cells are kind of hiding. In your discs, there's no good blood flow, a good blood supply. That goes away when you're just a young child. So the disc material doesn't have any vascularization. There are no arteries sticking in there to do that. So it doesn't lend itself well to spinal herniations, and that's one downside. Any other joint, especially the large joints, hips, knees, shoulders, and even the smaller joints in the thumbs and fingers, respond remarkably well, because as long as there's a joint space in there, and that's where I use my digital motion x-ray in order to see how well things are moving before we even contemplate doing this kind of procedure, we can see if there's a joint space, and if there is, that's all we need, because that tissue then can regrow.
So the difference between a ball and socket joint versus something like a knee joint that's completely the same kind of healing process.
Oh yes, yes, you're right. There are two different joints, your hinge joints, like elbows or knees, but they do have a joint capsule around there, and the stem cells, the mesenchymal stem cells, will stay in there and help your own tissue do the healing.
Setting the body up for its own healing.
That's it.
Amen. I love it.
Absolutely natural. And talk a little bit about some of the things that you have.
Yes,
I know you've got a couple of pictures.
Please
we
do.
have,
I think.
well, this is we have the pictures of the joint space, and what they can put that on the screen, I think, or something. Hold up here.
Yeah.
This is the knee, for example, and right here we're looking at the joint space. All right, and as long as there is a space in there, there's hope. Okay, so on the
perfect.
Oh, that's the other one there. So, anyways, that's kind of like a before and after. And to the left, you can see where there's close to arthritis,
Yes.
close to bone on bone.
Yes, yes.
And with de-weighting, we have a specialized knee brace where we can put that on before we do the treatment and see that there actually is some space on there. So on the left-hand side, you think, oh, that's too late, the bones are touching, and in actual fact, after putting on the specialized brace, we can see there's space, so there's hope for that person.
So I've always been under the belief system that if you're bone on bone, you're done.
Yeah.
The only answer is...
That's what my surgeon had told me. Yeah. Exactly.
But this is the crux of the situation. If it's truly bone on bone, but 90% of the time it's not.
Oh,
okay.
There's still some joint space in there. And the patients that have been coming in, and my staff can attest to this, Alyssa, she's heard time and time and time, just like I have, that, oh, it's too late, it's bone on bone. I said, well, let's take a digital motion x-ray and see. And sure enough, there's joint space in there. And then we put the brace on and even create more joint space so there's more healing. If it's true bone on bone, and I did have one gentleman that came in and his hip wasn't just bone on bone, it was fused. Oh. He should have had a replacement done probably 5 years ago.
Okay.
There's nothing we can do for that. For disc herniations, we have decompression, so we can treat those patients, just not with stem cells. Big question that comes up, and I want to address this, is where do the stem cells come from? Okay, they do not come from aborted tissue. They do not come from fetal tissue. They come from umbilical cords that are planned C-sections. So not vaginal deliveries, but C-sections, so it's all very, very sterile, and we use those cells because they're the most rich in stem cells, mesenchymal stem cells.
Wow. I used to live next door to a doctor, and that's one of the things that he would always try to get from a C-section is the stem cells, because they were so rich.
Save the cord. Yeah.
And that was about 15 years ago, and I was just fascinated listening to how that process was just beginning at that point.
Absolutely.
That's the interesting thing, is 10 years ago, they were basically taking all the stem cells from the same person, from the hip. I had a trial by fire, years ago, and my son was an infant. We ended up having to give him a bone marrow transplant. So I know about the value and the power of bone marrow stem cells. This is not that. This has a much better healing capability, the tissues that we're using, because it's not just the mesenchymal stem cells, but other growth factors in that tissue. So it works much better than taking your own stem cells out of your body, or taking body fat, spinning them, trying to separate stem cells. This is the best way to do it, and that's why I kind of waited until now, as I said before, for things to kind of line up to be the most effective, and that's what we have right now.
That's really exciting.
I know.
That is so exciting. Well, don't you think that it's up to us to be, number one, proactive and accountable for our health, and to really gain more knowledge so that we can make more informed decisions?
Absolutely.
As I was telling you before the show, I did a torn meniscus, and I did not even want... Surgery just wasn't an option if I could help myself, heal myself, which I've been doing. If I would have come to you, and obviously you would have done that type of digital x-ray, the motion x-ray, walk me through this. A lot of people are out there going in for surgery. I have talked to so many people. Well, did it work? Didn't it work? And you probably know what some of the answers are yourself.
Yeah.
Some
So-
do, some don't. But I heard more stories where the surgery was worse.
Yeah. The hips, they've done a decent job with hips. Hips are not that complicated. Knees, you're talking about a year recovery. Shoulders, I don't like shoulder replacements at all.
Shoulders, I understand.
I've
yeah.
only had one ankle replacement, and that was not that complicated. But the idea of avoiding the surgeries completely is very appealing to people because there's no downtime, there's no risk, and you can get your life back just by simply having a few injections. The worst threat for the injections is what's called site infection, and you get that from a flu shot.
Oh, yeah.
So or a steroid shot. You mentioned about that. And so the risk is very minimal. There's no rejection with these mesenchymal stem cells because they're immune privileged cells. The same reason why the mother doesn't attack the growing fetus, because they're kind of hidden from the immune system. So they last about 4 to 8 months, 4 to 8 months inside our body, and they help our own body use the stem cells that we have to get the job done. So it's natural, it's safe, it's very cost-effective right now, just costing a fraction of what the surgery costs, and even out-of-pockets between the co-pays, deductibles, PT, things that aren't covered by insurance. You're going to pay more for that than you will for the actual stem cells.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
We only have 1 minute. I could sit here and talk with you all day.
I know. I'm sitting here with 6 questions, and it's how so you said it takes 8 months. Then your own stem cells
Yes.
then start reproducing and
Yeah, they start right away, but that process can last
Awesome.
up to 6 to 8 months. Yeah, which is
Awesome.
very good.
And then after the 6 to 8 months, then what's the next step?
Well, during the recovery procedure, I shouldn't say recovery, during the post-treatment procedure, we have a couple of extra things we talked about using a pulsed laser. I have a cold laser, which helps to increase healing, and then also a pulsed EMF, which is an electromagnetic frequency, which increases stem cells in your small blood vessels and increases the blood vessels, small blood vessels, and that brings in more stem cells, and that also can aid the healing. So we don't just give patients a shot in the knee and say, here are your stem cells, good luck. We do a lot more with the post-treatment as well.
Awesome, awesome. Gosh, we could talk to you all day. And I do want to just mention that we're not making any claims to cure or diagnose or anything, and everybody's results are going to vary, so just keep that in mind. But I have not been to this doctor, but you're on my list.
Yes.
I hear from everybody about you. You've got an excellent reputation.
Oh, I appreciate
and
that.
we hope to have you back. Get a hold of Dr. Huey. Go in for a consultation. Pick up a
Website.
brochure. And the website, you can go to the website as well, which is?
TTHC.net.
Do it today. There's no reason to not try to get some alternative therapy.
Give us a call at 727-934-0844.
Consultation is great.
Thank you.
This is
I know.
great. We got to have you back. This was so not enough.
I know.
I enjoyed
It's
it.
like more.
It's short. It's short.
Yeah.
All right.
Good to see you again.
Thank
Good to see you
you.
again.
We'll be right back.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Here we go.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV, the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we're featuring my hometown, Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce, with Jean. She's back with great guests. And we have a return guest here from Cypress Run Golf Club, Robin Creelman. You're the events director, and you have something special to talk about. Additional guest is DJ Simon Says, music to my ears is your business, and I can't wait to hear about this. So let's hear it.
Well, we are partnering together on a wedding show. So after the renovations last year, we decided to partner with Simon. He's done a couple of wedding shows. This is our first time, so I'll let him talk about it more, but to kind of showcase our facility.
Oh, very nice. So it's a wedding show, right? It's okay.
But let me say one thing before you start. The facility has come together unbelievably.
Really?
Because when we were on before, we were talking about
We
how
just
beautiful
reopened.
it was and had just reopened, and beautiful bar and all opening up into one another section off of a patio. It is absolutely gorgeous. They did, just before Christmas, did the Taste of Tarpon, which was a Rotary event there. It was packed. It was just wonderful. We had a great time.
Aw,
and
that's
I just,
great to
I mean,
hear.
they're just doing such a fabulous job out there. And so
Awesome.
it's such a pleasure. Very rarely do we have somebody back on, but this is so unique and such a great,
Well, good.
great thing that they're doing. So
So tell us, what's going to be happening at the wedding show?
So yeah, Sunday, March 31st.
March 31st?
From noon to 3, we'll be having our Bridal Showcase. You'll be able to come out and see the renovated building and how amazing it is set up for weddings. It is a private golf course, but we are open to the public, obviously, for the wedding showcase and for brides to have their wedding there. But the best thing is you'll be able to meet all the wedding professionals, people that we know and trust and who are reputable in the Tarpon Springs area.
Nice.
Who can make your dreams come true for your wedding.
Oh, that's very, very
So you'll have
exciting.
photographers and people with gowns and not caterers, because you all do a
that'd be me.
fabulous job. I was going to say, you do a fabulous job. The food out there is amazing.
Yeah, so we're really excited to showcase the new facility and get some brides in there. We've got some great dates available this year. Definitely some dates in the future, and so we're really excited to work with this. Like I said, it was our first time, so.
I remember when you were, it was last year, when you were in the process of going through the renovation.
Yeah.
So I need to skip on over there. It's right across the street from me.
Yes, you should.
I know. When we had one of our first lunches there, I'm sure she had showcased this, but there was a mother deer and a doe and a fawn out in the yard, just kind of cruising around while we were having lunch. And then there was a flock of turkeys another time when we were out there for another lunch for the chamber. And I thought, this is amazing. How did you script this?
That's how our neighborhood is, right? You
Right.
just never know what kind of nature is going to peek around the corners.
Beautiful
and-
backdrop
yeah.
for pictures, for one of those, the dream come true wedding.
Oh, that's so neat. So what kind of music are you playing?
So for the Bridal Showcase, we'll just be playing light background music.
Okay.
We really want to showcase the vendors. We do have some special prizes and giveaways, of course, and some ballroom dance lessons.
Ooh.
Very nice. That's nice.
So what are some of the vendors that you're going to have?
Well, we want to keep those up our sleeve just for the moment.
Oh, that's not fair.
That isn't fair. We got you.
We do.
Do you have someone that's streaming weddings there yet?
Not yet.
Oh, gee.
My, what about WeBeam TV? We do that.
Yeah.
We should be there, John. We should be there.
Yes, and they do
Yeah?
a marvelous job.
Yeah,
That would be
we've got
great
plenty
on
of time.
location.
What day is that?
March 31st.
Sunday.
March
Sunday.
31st.
Sunday. We can do this, John.
And the exciting part too is that all the vendors that we've contacted are personal vendors that we've worked with. So
That's right,
they've
you
vetted
just
throughout
got
the
married not too long ago.
a couple years ago I did. So we do have a couple of those vendors, but Simon is in the industry too. So
Marvelous.
there are other linen companies and stuff like that he knows or that I know would do a fabulous job for you, whether you have it at our location or not.
How much time, this is just coming to me thinking about planning for a wedding for a new bride that it's all nervous and trying to pull it together and everything. What's your lead time as far as booking dates out? How busy are you?
Well, I met with a wedding planner actually a couple weeks ago, and she said that depending on how much money you want to spend, it can be as quick or as fast as you want it to be. So usually brides nowadays are planning at least 1 year out is what we're looking at.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the average engagement's about a year.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah. So you have weddings every weekend?
We would love to do that. We haven't done that quite yet, but we're looking forward to growing that, and this is going to be a launching point for us.
As I'm thinking about the location and having done several chamber lunches there, I'm just thinking, the staircase when you walk in for photographs is just, you walk in and there's this staircase that goes up, and then there's this upper hallway. The gown can be spread out. There's a beautiful, and the little urchins that carry all the flowers and everything can be sitting there. I'm running through my head. The location is just lends itself to a lot of creativity in that regard.
That makes a big difference.
Yes. So the beautiful pictures, and then even outside pictures too.
Oh yeah.
Because you've got such a variety of backdrops between having the 18th hole type of thing, or having a backdrop of water, or which is there, or the woods, or something.
And we do have a bridge that goes over from over to the 18th green. So it's nice, got some great foliage around it. Our ceremony space as well has a water backdrop with live oaks and Spanish moss, so it's very Florida in its feel.
I want to get married again.
I do that every time.
No, to my same husband. Do our vows. Do you have that?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just throw a giant party. That would be fun, because the food that there is, the catering that would be phenomenal. So everything is right there. You don't have to worry about timing you handle it all.
Yeah, that's really good to just turn it over to you. So that's fabulous. How long have you been over there?
I've been there about 14 months. So it's still a fairly new venue for me, but and it got even newer when we did our renovations.
Oh, I bet.
And then I joined a networking group and met Simon, and we've formed a great partnership in doing events. He's done a couple events at the club for us, for our members, throughout the Christmas season, and then we're going to be doing this event and looking forward to many more events together. So
she's not new to this business either. She came from another country club and came over, she and the manager, and so she's very seasoned at knowing how to make this work.
Yeah, I gathered that the last time that we interviewed you. I want to ask you about Music to My Ears, and you just don't do weddings. You do all kinds of different events. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, we're mobile DJs for all occasions. Weddings is our specialty, and of course our passion. But yeah, we can do everything from kids' birthday parties, bat mitzvahs, bar mitzvahs, to retirement parties, to older birthday parties, and corporate events,
And what your music is important, because you've got so many different age groups.
Absolutely. You want to tailor each event to the guest and what they need. And then of course, whoever's the star of the show, whether it be a birthday person or the corporate person who's got a special vision in mind, or whatever it may be, we'll meet your needs.
Okay.
Yes, I would think corporate parties are coming back, so that would be something.
So would you play, a combination of 60s, 70s, 80s music, all that?
You always want to do what's called work the decades. So maybe you start.
What is it called?
Work the decades.
Work the decades.
Right.
I love that.
So what you do is you start with the older stuff, and then ease into the newer stuff.
Work your way up to it. What about ballroom dance music?
Absolutely.
You got that?
Who doesn't love swing dancing?
Oh, swing. What about salsa?
Absolutely.
Samba?
Absolutely.
You got it all?
Got it all.
All right. Tango.
You know it.
I love this guy. That's perfect, because not everybody does that. I think, we
don't you have an anniversary coming up?
We do.
Okay.
19 years in October.
Okay, then you have enough time to plan a 19th anniversary party in October.
Of course.
Sure, this is what, 6 months lead in?
Let's do it.
And Simon has a connection with a dance instructor, which is how we're going to wrap up our bridal show anyways.
That is really good that you're incorporating a dance instructor so that the bride and groom can learn just a basic box step and go out there and just wow the crowd. That is so excellent. I love to hear that.
My mom referred to it as the prom sway. She's like, "You're not doing the prom sway, are you?"
I never heard that, but now I understand.
So it's always nice to feel a little comfortable in what you're doing.
More, yes. Move your feet.
Yeah. That must be really fun to be in entertainment as your job. It's not your job, because what they say, when you're enjoying what you're doing, it's really not work.
Absolutely.
How fun is that? And I bet planning. Do you ever get like butterflies in your tummy to make sure everything goes right?
I'm one of those people that right at the very beginning of the event, all of a sudden it's like, oh, now it's time to go. Leading up to it, I'm fine, but as soon as it's go time, that's when all the nerves start coming together.
Yeah, because it's your baby, really.
Yep.
I mean, you nurture it, and then with it's all about the music too, because you create that mood with
Absolutely.
the emotions, and I'm getting emotional just thinking about it.
And DJs are great to work with, from my end, because they are basically the MC of the show. So we work together really well in that, there's a time frame together. I tell them what we're looking for as far as a timeline, and we work together to execute that at the same time to make the event.
Timing is a huge thing with events. And I mean, when you're off on your timing, even if it's just a regular like resident event at your country club and you're off, your dinner is off, this is off, that's off, it just creates anxiety. You don't enjoy yourself as much. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yep.
You stick to the guns, you stick to the timing. That's awesome.
And people have to know too, is it time to cut the cake? Is it, time for the happy birthday? Is it time for
they wanna
the
know.
wedding a garter?
Yeah,
And so you're sort of the timekeeper simply because they're enjoying themselves and suddenly a half hour's gone or suddenly 2 hours are gone and they just really don't know. And so you're sort of the MC on that end of it.
Yep.
Organization, I love it. We are winding down this segment, so I want to thank both of you guys for coming on the show and talking about it. You're over at Cypress Run Golf and Country Club, and it sounds like you've just got it all together over there. Congratulations
Go
and
check
good
it out
luck.
because
Well,
look,
don't forget
I
to
love-
come visit us on the 31st.
31st. All right, we've got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a brief little time out. When we come back, we have more from Tarpon Chamber of Commerce.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by Trulieve on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Cameras over there.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV, the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. With me is Jean Hungiville. And we have a couple of guests here that I'm getting exhausted just watching you try to perch on the chair with all this equipment. We have Angie Hunter and what is your name, dear?
Lauren.
Lauren. And you are from Narcosis Scuba Center.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear all about this.
I know.
We don't have the water
busy.
for you, but
Oh, busy. And and Joyce, who owns it, was supposed to be here, and she got cold feet, which we are going to give her a hard time about that.
she bailed on you.
Good.
Oh,
Yes,
Joyce.
we will give her a hard time.
She sent her minions.
Her minions.
Yes,
It's okay.
She wasn't feeling good today.
Aw,
Oh.
okay. Well, we'll give her a pass this time. Listen, you're really brave to bring all this equipment out. Let's talk about, I've never been scuba diving.
Oh, you have missed it, Barbara.
Have you?
Yes,
Really?
I'm certified.
Yeah?
Oh, yes.
I'm impressed.
Yes. What's your certificate level?
I am up to night diving, cavern diving, wreck diving, and I just,
Oh, you little fish. I didn't know that.
I didn't know what you were going to call me.
Well, not a shark. How about an
Or a
angel fish?
barracuda.
How about a mermaid?
Barracuda.
So, girls, talk to me about scuba diving. Why do I want to do this?
It's really like another planet.
It is.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people know more about other planets than we do about the ocean.
No kidding.
So-
Now, you gave me the right answer that I wanted to hear. So it's like another planet. Why is that? Because it's just so undiscovered by the average person.
It really is. It changes every day, too.
I bet.
It is so amazing. Tell her what it's like to just level out.
It's really like feeling weightless in space, almost,
Yes.
once you find your neutral buoyancy. I mean, do you want to touch on that?
Oh, I have a lot of other reasons. I have a love of the ocean. I'm a fish. I free dive. I scuba dive because, you know, it's a social. It's also very social. There's a
Yes,
lot of
it
people
is.
here that love scuba diving. But Lauren's right. It's a completely different world. And when you emerge into the ocean or into the water, or the caverns or the caves that you're in, you know that you're about that big. And
Yes.
it's very exciting. So it's not for everyone. There's a lot of people that have issues with being underwater and things like that, and that's fine. We actually, as a company, have a lot to offer people who don't scuba dive. So even though we're a scuba company, we also do spear fishing. We also do snorkel trips. Lauren actually is our trip leader.
And regular fishing charters.
And regular fishing charters.
But I think there almost is something for everyone for scuba diving, because
Yeah.
if you're into marine biology, or if you're into fishing, salvage, just about anything, there's, it's in the ocean.
I remember the first time that I went, and it was on actually my honeymoon many years ago. And it was one of those, we were in Bermuda, and it was like, oh, let's go. You get 15 minutes in the pool, and then we're going to go out. Scared the daylights out of me because I was totally unprepared. But I had really wanted to do that. So I came back to where we were living in Washington, D.C., and went to a PADI certified company, and we went to a quarry, which was outside of Washington in Haymarket, and learned to dive. But we were in a pool first because we learned, and I learned to sit on the bottom of that pool, take my mask off, switch it from hand to hand, put it back on, and I am not a fish by any means. And I thought, I'm going to drown, but I knew I could stand up because the water was just ahead of me, so you calmly go through this. I remember the day that I learned to be able to go that far above the bottom of the pool, came around the end, I was so excited, I almost drowned myself.
Ladies, would you mind if I got a little bit more comfortable? Now, this
Not at
BCD
all.
is perfect for when you're underwater. And the reason why I'm wearing it today is because I wanted to show you guys that we actually cater to women at our shop, men and women
That's a
alike,
small
because this is a small, but this is a Luna BCD. This Luna is actually made and designed for women's fit, because we're fit a lot different than men.
Velcro
Or would you mind
holds it
helping me
on?
out? Yeah, we do have a cummerbund, a lot like somebody in band. And this is why you have a dive buddy.
But you can't
You
take
have
it
a buddy come
completely
help
off
you.
because you're
no,
hooked.
I'm attached. Oh no. We're attached. I'm just gonna.
Watch. You can't do that right now.
Your
gonna have to
microphone's attached.
Just
That's
kinda-
fine. That's fine.
You're still attached.
You guys.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, we
See?
don't want you to
No, Lauren.
lose
We're
that.
good. We're good.
There you
We're
go.
good.
Okay.
I knew what I was doing.
Okay, but you're comfortable like
but
that.
I'm comfortable.
Okay,
I just wanted to take these off my shoulders and maybe explain some of the features that we have with these. So that's what we know in Scuba. This means that all is good. This is good sign. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And the Luna BCD is specialized for women.
We are a Sherwood Scuba dealer as well as an Aqualung dealer.
Okay.
I almost got you, girls. Sorry about that.
And we're also doing a special for February and March. Buy one class, get one class half off.
Did you brought the flyers over, because we have those at the chamber. I would love to have the flyer digitally so we can get it out to our membership, because that is amazing.
Where do we come see you?
We are at 528 East Tarpon Avenue in Tarpon Springs.
Right downtown. As you're coming into town, it's on your left.
I know where it is.
Yes, they have scuba equipment out in the front.
Can't miss
They've
it.
got,
Come visit
it's definitely there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've got
Our boat is just a mile away in the historic sponge docks.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
Here we go.
This is our website. You can also see our YouTube channel. We've got several videos about in the Gulf, as well as river dives such as Rainbow River, Crystal River, and there's more being added all the time.
every day. We do a dive. We have our open dive charters available every day.
We're planning on a shark tooth dive next month in Venice.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be fun. We'll hunt for ancient shark teeth as well as megalodon teeth on March 30th and 30th.
What is megalodon teeth?
Ancient sharks.
No kidding.
Wow.
I mean, it's fun
That
stuff.
sounds fascinating.
Have you heard of the movie called The Meg? It's sort of along that line. They kind of take it a little overboard, but
okay.
But they're giant ancient sharks.
No kidding. Well,
Really?
I know I've seen the boat down at the city marina.
Yeah.
And loading people on it and taking off and coming back, and everybody seems to be having a great time, and I am so jealous because I'm down there working because our visitor center is there, and it's like, oh, I want to go too because it's.
You'll take time. You'll make time.
I will make
So
time.
how
once
long
we
is
get
a
this out.
how long is like from start to finish doing this?
Getting certified or going on a trip?
On a little
Regular boat dive trip.
Yeah.
Our most popular is the 2-tank shallow dive. Most of the Gulf is pretty shallow, about 50 feet or less, unless you really want to go deeper. You have to be advanced certified for that, though. And it takes, usually meet at our dive shop at 6 a.m., depart on the boat at 7, and probably get back to the marina around 12 noon.
Okay, so you have to go through a little bit of education here before you go out and all that kind of stuff. I have this crazy question, but I know if our viewers are watching, they're wondering the same thing. How do you avoid the sharks?
Well, you got to know that you're in their habitat. So I actually have a fear of sharks, and I've been scuba diving for almost 8 years.
Really?
And I got certified in Guam. So I moved to Florida, to Tarpon Springs, to be a scuba diver professionally. And mostly the sharks aren't there to bother you, but they do tend to have more of an aggression if you're fishing.
There really aren't many sharks in the Gulf
Not in the Gulf, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Not too much in the Gulf.
For them.
Yeah.
Like
no.
Jupiter is popular for shark lovers.
And off the East Coast, more so.
Right.
Well, this is fascinating.
As long as you respect their space, they tend to leave you alone.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Very interesting. So you were certified in how long have you been involved with this?
With Narcosis?
Yeah.
Or with scuba diving?
Scuba diving overall.
Scuba diving overall, I've been diving for about 10 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what made you get into it? You just had a love for the ocean?
I've always had a love. I was a free diver. So I was a free diver, and I was going through the corals, and I just loved it. So I wanted to take that into another step advance. And then I went from there, and now me and Lauren are going to be certified in rescue from the shop.
We're both working our way towards Dive Master.
Oh, nice.
That's
and
a
how long
really
have you
big
been
accomplishment.
in it?
I've been with Narcosis since July last year.
Yeah.
And I've been diving since 2012.
Oh, very good.
Very nice. Sounds like you found your passion.
Right.
And I'm also working towards captain.
Well, good for you.
It'll take a year or two, but
And so when did you miss Mermaid here?
That was back in the 90s, and I have not dived now in about 10 years. But back, I just don't have time anymore because I'm working. But the thing that I loved was how relaxing it is.
I can envision that to just
and
be.
you just learn to sort of be.
Yeah.
And for me, that's really hard to do.
The number one rule in scuba diving is to stay calm. So
Yeah.
Because if you
I
don't, you
guess
pop to the
so.
surface and you can't get your equilibrium. But I will never forget the day that I was coming back up, and you stop for a few minutes before you go to the surface, and a seahorse came right up to my mask.
How cute.
And I could see right through him or her. And I was mesmerized by this little thing about this big. And I thought, oh, this is what this is all about.
Yeah, you have to, it's an experience.
Right.
That you, it sounds like you just don't forget. Did you say 1 minute? We only 1
I
minute?
know, as we just got started.
My
I
goodness.
was like excited.
We
This is
always have
great.
such great guests with Tarpon Chamber, and I thank you for that. So you're right on Tarpon Avenue?
We're on Tarpon Avenue.
528 East Tarpon Avenue.
Drive into town, look to your left as you're coming in, and it's across from the Methodist Church, and it's right there. They've got all kinds of equipment out front. You can't. There's no question.
you can't
what
miss
you all
it.
do.
You can't
We're
miss
a
it.
full service shop also, so we're one of the only one of the only charters here in Tarpon Springs in this area, so that we own the boat, and then we also do the air tanks, and we do the fills, we do
okay.
repairs, and then we have a full service to offer.
We're a full service 5-star patty resort.
Marvelous.
Wow,
So you
that-
do repairs. So I can.
That is nice.
Bring your gear in. Everybody bring your gear in. We're ready for it. It's about to be
Yeah.
dive
I
season.
remember getting a
fills, nitrox,
microprocessor.
everything.
Oh, my goodness.
Microprocessor, which was like this big, and everybody else's was huge, and I was like this little jaw, and I paid a lot of money for it back then, and I still have it, and it's like, oh my
That's
goodness.
so
now probably
fun.
everybody uses those.
Right.
Well, we have to go, and I want to thank you, ladies. Stay right there. We'll take the mic off of you. And Marla, I know you're out there. We're going to get you moved down here, and I know where you're going to be swimming, and it's
Oh,
not
that'll
going to
be
be
fun.
in your pool all the time. We'll get you scuba diving. We'll be right back.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by Trulieve on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our exciting show today featuring the Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce. I'm Barbara Marville-Kelly. Thanks for joining us. Gene Hungiville is with us, and you're going to be talking about some of the events, especially the main attraction of the Fine Arts Festival.
Yes, we've got stuff going on, our normal stuff, but the Fine Arts Festival is coming up in another 10 days.
Getting close.
Sinking into madness.
I bet.
Details. But let me give you the regular stuff that's going on tonight. When we leave here, and you've got to come to town, because there is a new bed and breakfast called the Blue Bayou. It is actually almost across the street from Narcosis.
Really?
It's just sort of diagonally across the street. The couple is from the Washington, D.C. area and have been working on this for 2 years. It's 7 guest rooms with the most exquisite showers I have ever seen.
Nice.
They are beautiful. They're like shower rooms for each bathroom. And we're doing an open house and a ribbon cutting. It's from 5 until 6:30.
Okay.
It's at 427 East Tarpon. If anybody wants to come by, have a little glass of wines. The ribbon cutting will be about 5:15. The mayor will be there to give them the key to the city. And we'll have all of our ambassadors there. It is a lovely place. In fact, the 3 judges for our Fine Arts Festival are going to be staying there.
Oh, nice.
For the couple of nights that they're here. And I think Jose Gilot, who is one of our judges, is listening. And I said, Jose, you are going to absolutely love the room.
Nice.
It's just going to be wonderful.
That's so nice. I love to hear that.
Yes. So, and you know, it was one of, you talk about passion. This couple has been working on this and designing it and bringing it to this level that is just going to be, it's exquisite. They've been living in Dunedin and traveling up here to do it. Now they've moved in. I'm excited.
You should be. It's so nice to be over there in your position so you get a chance to see all these great things happening, right?
And help showcase them too, because we have the 1910 Inn, which is a beautiful Victorian just about on the bayou. And Annie Marcos, who owns it, is full all the time. So it's so nice to be able to have a second one, because we really don't have any downtown hotels to speak of. So having these 2 beautiful bed and breakfasts, especially now this new one, is very exciting to be able to refer.
That sounds exciting. It really does.
But in March, let me quickly run through before we come back to the Fine Arts Festival. If it's Wednesday in Tarpon Springs, it's Chamber Day. So the first Wednesday of the month, which is March 6th, we will be back at Copenhagen, as we are, with our Danish breakfast and our networking. And it's always a lively group. We always, if anybody's interested in the Chamber, we say, come as my guest to this one, and you can have a little bit of something to eat, coffee, and lively conversation. It's at 8:30 to 9:45, and the caffeine flows. It's pretty amazing. And it's a small father-daughter business that just is doing very well, and we like to support them.
That's nice.
The next Wednesday, which is the 13th, we have a mixer, and it's sort of an anniversary for Rhea Saber. Let me try. Rhea Saber, who is Wine at the Docks. She's also one of our city commissioners. And Wine at the Docks is her shop. We're going to have a wine get-together down there. It's on the Canise. Then on the 20th, which is the 3rd weekend, which is our lunch, or 3rd Wednesday is our lunch, it will be at Current's 3rd space, and we are now having speakers. We just had a wonderful speaker on marketing. This one is now going to be tchotchkes for your business. In other words, what kind of things can you leave behind that can be part of what your business is?
I know who was there.
And one of the people who's there is Christina, who was here last month with our Candle Roses, and she's going to be one of our demonstrators as to how because she is so good at that. She was fabulous.
Really good.
So that will be the theme of the luncheon, of how to market yourself a little differently. The last Wednesday of the month, which is the 27th, this is going to be a raucous Chamber and Tarpon Springs Rotary happy hour.
Oh, boy.
And we are going to be at AHEPA, which, remember, they are our nonprofit of the year. They were on our first program in July. AHEPA is the Greek scholarship organization that is on Tarpon Avenue, which is right behind the chamber. They are going to be hosting this, and we're going to be doing some interactive games. And, you know, of course, Rotary and Chamber, the members are sometimes the same in common, and they're going to compete with each other as to which, and we got to keep people from cheating. Oh my gosh.
That's going to be fun.
The competitive nature of that. That will be the last Wednesday of the month, and that will be how we wrap up the month. But in the meantime, between the 6th and the 13th, we have the 9th and the 10th, and that's our Fine Arts Festival. I have talked about this, I think, every single time I have been on here, because this is our baby. We get anywhere from 15 to 18,000 people that come in for this.
Did you hear that? 15 to 18,000 people.
It is. And
right in the heart of Tarpon Springs.
And it's $5 to get in.
That's it.
That's it. For many, many years, there was no charge, but it's $5 to get in, which allows us to, there's Christopher Still and David Wright. David is our official photographer. Oh, there's our craziness. See how messy we get?
How fun.
This is our, if you see some of us in an orange shirt, that's a person you can ask a question to. There's David and one of our artists. It's just, you see David has a Rotary shirt on too. He's going to be one of our rabble rousers.
He's very involved in the community.
Sponsors that we have had over the years. Excuse me. It's going to be just wonderful. Here's the crowd. Look
Isn't
at
that
this.
Great?
But see, it's in Craig Park.
Yeah.
And it's all along the water and the interior of it. So it's never so crowded that look at this look at that smile. Look at her work.
Yeah.
And the photograph on the bottom that she's painting from. She was one of our winners. Here's Jeff Eckert on the left in the red shirt was our featured artist last year. Everyone has on one of his shirts. That was our photo from last year. And then these are all different people who are supporters of his.
That's great.
It's just
That's
so much fun.
Great.
This year, our featured artist, Kim, and I can't remember her last name, has something very colorful. Oh, yes, that was when I was bringing the balloons in the morning of that we were going to be awarding prizes, and the wind caught me.
Oh, jeez.
So, there's what it looks like.
Yeah. That is so gorgeous.
200 artists, and they are all juried. This is not an arts and crafts show. This is a fine arts festival.
That's right.
And we have 3 jurors who have there's some more
look at
who
that.
have gone through the digital artwork that people submit through Zapplication, and then they score them. And then they go through and determine who in each of these different categories, we have about 12 categories, who then will be mixed media, who will be photography, who will be wood, glass sculpture, jewelry, all kinds of different. And you can buy $25 earrings and $2,500 sculptures. And I know that there's going to be a $5,000 fish sculpture in granite that's going to be there too. I saw the picture of it, and it is yellow and white, and it's exquisite.
Wow.
It's about this. It would sit lovely on top of this table.
Wow.
But it's the kind of thing where these 3 jurors have now gone through and done the first pass, and now they will go with clipboards and see the work in person.
Oh, yeah.
And we went through, there were some people on the wait list that could fill in. It was a real labor of love for them, because one of the jurors is a metallurgist. Another one is Jose Gelat, who I mentioned earlier, is the curator at the Henry Plant Museum in Tampa. And the other woman is a photographer and an art planner. So we've got a nice variety. They know what they're looking at. And the quality of this is, we're going to be bringing it up to a level that we haven't seen in quite a number of years.
Oh, that's going to be so exciting. I just can't believe it's, I mean, the setting for something like this over there at Craig Park is just amazing, with the water and I know the weather's going to be beautiful.
I'm praying for it. I've put in for it. I even asked my mother to light a candle at church for it. But it's It's a little earlier than we normally have, the 9th and 10th. It is the second weekend in March and will be for the next 7 years. We usually had to work around Greek Easter and American Easter, and then Greek Independence Day, which is on the 25th. And when is the parade for that versus the parade in New York, because they have to coordinate people coming in from, the officials coming in from Greece. So we ended up with looking at going earlier, and it's the weekend before Winter Park, which is outside of Orlando, and it's a very popular, very highbrow art festival. So, okay, maybe we'll pick up some of those artists. We did.
Good.
We picked up quite a number of the artists that will come from us and then feed over to that. So I'm excited. Some of the glass sculpture that I have seen this year that were really ranked top took my breath away.
Oh, that's, I have to attend that. It's
Yes.
like right around the corner from
and
me.
it's only $5. No pets, please, because the artists by request have asked for no pets. If you come, park at Tarpon Tower, which
I was
is
just going to ask you that.
up at Tarpon Tower, which is on 19, right near Martin Luther King. If you turn on Martin Luther King Avenue, it's right there. You'll see the tower. We have 5 shuttles running, so you never have to wait more than 5 minutes.
Oh, that's perfect.
Between Astroskate and the wheelchair limo and Kia trolley and Brookdale have all donated their buses, and so we've got this continuous thing. When you get off the bus, you will see the Tarpon High School band. They will be selling water and having little vignettes, so there's a little fundraiser for them there going on. And then you walk down and come in the gate and enjoy.
And just enjoy. Exactly.
We have
Time
food
to go
and
already.
drink and entertainment.
You can't ask for more than that,
know.
right? Thank you, Jean.
I'm
You do such a
excited.
great job.
Oh, thank you, Barbara.
So check out the Tarpon Chamber of Commerce and the events. See you next time.
Bye-bye.